Do you ever feel like manifestation is just another thing on your to-do list that you don't have time for? Like your spiritual practice is something that you have to do? Honestly, you're not alone because I felt that way too. Something that's really changed my relationship with manifestation is blending it into my lifestyle so that no matter what I'm doing, I'm also manifesting. I call this manifestation as a lifestyle, and it's single handedly made the entire manifestation journey more enjoyable for me. And I've seen my desires show up with a lot more ease. Manifesting as a lifestyle has made manifestation go from feeling like a task to something I just naturally do because it's who I am. If you'd like to learn more about this, I've created a step by step guide for you. I'll link it in my show notes so you can check it out. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Pyle Corley. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and now it's time to get started. If you're looking for a space to navigate life's light and dark moments, I invite you to download my app, Affirm It. It's an app I crafted to help you create your spiritual practice because I know how hard it can be to manage your energy throughout all the different things life throws at us. So we celebrate the light and the dark. We're not asking you to be positive all the time. We're super, super raw, super real, and welcoming to all the feelings. And so inside of the app, I've created a ton of intentional features to help you with your spirituality. We have daily affirmations to help you stay consistent on your journey. We have guides, practices, and journaling to help you with the self-improvement. And we have guided meditations and visualizations to help you deepen your practice and connect to yourself. One of my favorite things that I've created for the app is actually guided affirmations. So it's something you listen to. It helps you effortlessly reprogram your limiting beliefs. And lastly, we have affirmation reminders. So that way you can get the good kind of notifications and affirm anytime and anywhere. So I invite you to download the app today, start your free 7-day trial, and after that, it's only $4.49 a month, and even less if you do our annual plan. Head to the show notes to download it on your phone today. Hi everyone, this is Pyle, and welcome back to the Affirmation Addict podcast. This episode is dedicated to you if you are feeling a little bit lost, because I know how confusing, I know how messy and kind of overwhelming it can feel if you're in the state of feeling lost. So if this is you right now, I want you to know it's okay. And I want you to know you're going to get past it. And instead of trying to kind of find a way out, find a clear path out, because I feel like whenever I'm in these positions of feeling lost and feeling like I have no idea what to do, the only thing I think will help me is having a clear structure, having that clear, definitive thing that I can verbalize or write down or take action on. And that's why I really want to encourage you that instead of trying to think that the only way to feel not lost or the only way to feel clear is by having a clear path, what if you could take this opportunity? What if you could take this feeling as an opportunity for you to just embrace your current reality, embrace your present moment? I personally, from my own reflections, I've felt that when that feeling of loss comes up a lot, when that feeling of I need clarity, I don't know what my purpose is, maybe I don't know what I'm doing next, a lot of it comes from that feeling that I have to know the next step. I have to have a plan. We have to stick by it. Kind of that hustle culture mentality that we are always doing something next. Like it's almost like I have to be overproductive. And that can be really exhausting. And as humans, honestly, we all know this. We're not meant to be productive at all times. So my reframe to all of this has been, how can I not run away from feeling lost? How can I actually just be present? How can I notice the gratitude? How can I shift the energy of this feeling just in this moment, not for a long time? How can I shift the energy to be less kind of defeating and more inspiring? How can I notice, oh, wow, I actually do have so much to be grateful for? So that's really the tone I wanted to carry forward today's conversation with. And honestly, the biggest thing I want to remind you is if you're feeling lost, chances are you might feel like you're on a time crunch. Chances are you might feel like you're not doing enough. And honestly, you are. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not behind. You are on the right track. And these feelings of lostness, sorry, I don't even know if that's a word. I don't know how else to say it. These feelings of being lost or being confused or not having that clarity, it's actually so small compared to kind of the rest of the trajectory. And you might be thinking, well, Pyle, I've been lost for years. That's okay. Because when it comes down to it, what are you seeking if you feel like you're going to find something? What are you searching for? What do we think? If you're not lost, what's the opposite of lost? If you're not feeling confused, what's the opposite? And what can you imagine about that? What can you start to kind of daydream about? Okay, well, this is what it could be like. Explore those possibilities and let yourself and let your mind wander, because that will start to give you those options. Sometimes I've noticed in my own journey, when I have these extreme moments of not knowing my next step, not knowing my next path, I always have the most powerful revelations the moment I just accept that it's okay that I don't know what I don't know. Because the truth is if we knew everything, if we knew the entire flow of our life would be so much less exciting and much less inspiring to be through. It would be way too predictable. And if you think about it, we thrive off of that spontaneous energy. We thrive off of those things. And when you're feeling lost, you might be craving that energy, but you don't know how to create it. And then it goes down to we're just trying to force our way to control everything. So I think really what I'm trying to say is if you feel lost, my best solution, my best tip that might help you is maybe you are trying really hard to control the rest of your reality. And you need to create more trust in yourself to be able to handle what comes your way. And I think it's uncomfortable because when you're lost, you don't know what's coming your way. So then you're like, well, can I handle what's coming my way? Will I be able to handle what's coming my way? And the answer is yes. You are handed everything that you are capable of going through. You are capable of getting through. That's what you are handed. And you have to trust that and create that trust within yourself to remember that you are able to go through situations that you might not have predicted, you might not have asked for, but you are still here, you are still standing here loud and proud, and you are still being that best version of you. So if you're feeling lost, here are a few little takeaways, and we can dive deeper into it, but a few random takeaways that have come up. So let's not try and be in control. Let's allow ourselves to enjoy this feeling, enjoy the spaciousness of not knowing what to do next, not having that plan. What if that's a good thing? What if we are way too masculine energy in our society and have way too much structure? Feeling lost is actually a version of tapping into our feminine energy, and it's tapping into the energy of spaciousness, expansion, creating space for better things to come. Another thing is if you're feeling lost, we need to create more trust in ourselves and that we are going to be okay. I would say trust the universe, but sometimes that doesn't feel very soothing when you're in this position of feeling very lost. So what I mean by creating more trust in yourself is honestly trusting that no matter what happens, even if you don't know exactly what's going to happen, even if you don't know how it's going to happen, you will be able to figure it out. You are well equipped, you are resourceful, you are qualified, and you are capable of making the best of it. Because I think when we start to feel lost, it turns into fear of the unknown more than anything. It turns into, well, I don't know what's happening. And we feel like we're not in the driver's seat anymore. It almost starts to feel like life is happening to us instead of for us. And I want to kind of put a stop to that if you're feeling lost, and let's flip that. So maybe you don't know your next step. Maybe you don't know your next career move. Maybe you don't know how you're going to meet your soulmate. Maybe you don't know how you're going to get that dream home. Maybe you have no idea idea any of those things. But this is what we can know. This is what we can be certain about. Okay? You can be certain that no matter what is handed to you, you will make the best of it, because you, my friend, are so powerful. And I know you don't realize it sometimes. And it breaks my heart that you don't realize it all the time. But you truly, I know this, I can feel this. You are honestly able to handle what comes your way. You've done it before. So what's to say you can't do it again? Okay? When it comes to feeling lost, let's flip that switch. Let's flip that script and say, you know what? Maybe I'm going to be in the space of creation. Maybe right now feeling lost is actually not a bad thing. Maybe this is a symbol that I am giving myself permission to trust. I'm giving myself permission to be at ease and be okay that life is happening for me, even though it doesn't feel like it. Maybe logically, maybe consciously, it feels like things are not going in your favor, but we get to choose. We get to tell our story the way we want to tell it. So maybe your first reaction is, this kind of sucks. Well, we can flip that switch. We can flip that script and say, no, this is serving me. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know in what form, but I am going to claim and I am going to say it with confidence, say it with conviction that this phase in my life, that this moment of feeling lost is serving me. And instead of even calling it lost, let's call it creating clarity. Let's call it creating space. Pick a different term. If you're feeling lost, let's call it something new. Whenever I'm feeling lost, whenever I have no idea what to do, what I call it that really helps me is I am just creating and I'm being. Because I think when we're in a place where we're living our life and we know the next 10 steps, right? I think back to my college self. My college self, she had a plan. She was going to go get a job at a consulting firm, and then she was going to work there for 2 years, and then she was going to work at a startup, and then she was going to start her own business. I had a plan, and that felt so good to me. But honestly, nothing went according to plan. And the fact that nothing went according to that plan made me feel so much better that I couldn't even imagine. So in a way, instead of letting this feeling of being lost feel like you don't have a plan, let it be like you're actually living your life in the most purposeful way by just being. It's not a bad thing to not have a plan. Society says it's a bad thing, but I'm not saying it, and you don't have to say that it's a bad thing. Because honestly, in those moments where I had too rigid of a plan, I created more disappointment for myself than anything. I think knowing where you want to go is beautiful, but also leaving space for the universe to create, because honestly, we don't know what we don't know. And when we're feeling lost, I personally take it as a sign that I'm creating something that I've never seen before. I'm creating something that I don't even know how to put into words. So let's create that reframe, because the only reason when we're able to put things into words, when we're able to clearly see a pathway, is because we've seen it done before. We know what it looks like. We've seen the evidence in our reality. We've seen someone inspiring do it. So when people say, I want to create a 7-figure business, or when people say, I want to run my own restaurant, or I want to be a chef, all of these things we've seen before. So that's why we have labels for it. But what if you're feeling lost because you don't have a label for it, because you're on the verge of doing something that's never been done before? You're creating the most authentic version of you. And that's truly what living your purpose is. I always say living your purpose and being your most authentic self is not about just being able to serve people. It's about showing up as the best version of you and the most authentic version of you. And when it comes to really think about it, and this is the first time I'm saying this stuff out loud, but it's really making a lot of sense to me. I hope it's making as much sense to you, is when we are being our most authentic selves, because we are authentic, nobody knows. That's never been seen before. That's never been verbalized before. So my most authentic self has never been here on this earth before. So that might be why there's no words to explain it. Same for you. Maybe you're feeling lost because what you thought was your plan, what you thought was your next step isn't feeling aligned. And that's okay, because maybe it's not feeling aligned because what is feeling aligned for you has never been done before. It's never been verbalized. So now you're in this space of literally speechlessness because you can't put words to it because it's not existent yet. We haven't created it. Think about it this way. Before, I guess, Facebook, right? I think Facebook was one of the first social medias. How could you explain to someone 20, 30 years ago that there was going to be a thing on this website where you get to communicate with people and post pictures of each other? Like, how would you explain Facebook? How would you explain something that didn't exist before? That might be why you're feeling so lost. I'm not trying to imply that you're here to create the next big thing. I'm not trying to put that pressure on you. If you want to, and if that sounds aligned to you, you have my full support. But what I'm trying to say is maybe the way you want to live your life has never been done before. And that's why you're not able to see that clear pathway, because you've never seen anybody else do it. I'm so sorry, by the way, if you hear that motorcycle in the background. People over here are having a great day and going crazy. So I'm sorry. I felt like I was on a roll. However, that is what I feel like when it comes to feeling lost, is we want to verbalize. We want to put our labels on it. We want to put that pathway. We want to put kind of that clear path so everyone can understand. You can put it into words and it's simple and easy. But that's the thing. We don't have to be that. We can be complex. We can be not able to put into words. We can be these beautiful beings of love and light and healing who are just growing and evolving into versions of themselves that no one has ever seen before. Like, that is also very, very beautiful. So I wasn't planning on going into this. This kind of just came up. And I really, really hope that if you are feeling any version of lost or any lack of clarity, that this resonates with you, because I know how hard it can feel. And I really hope that this gave you a new perspective, a new version, a new way to think about your current reality and your current situation, and some options to help you reframe it. As you know, of course, I always have tools in my app for you. You can check the show notes if you want some of my tools for clarity and all of that. I'm not going to go into it because I think you guys know that the app exists, that the app is there for you to support you. But truly, there's no obligation to use it. It's my version of serving the world, and I hope you can be a part of it. But if not, that's okay too. The podcast is here. My Instagram, my TikTok, all of those things are here for you as well. So if you're feeling lost, I love you. I want you to know you will shift from this feeling, and you get to choose to do that. And I hope this episode, I hope me sharing with you my thoughts was a helpful step in that journey to shifting how you feel. So thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. I always get a ton of questions in my DMs from people asking how I can manifest X. The truth is, you can really manifest anything as long as it's for the greatest good. And if you're having trouble manifesting something right now, or you feel stuck on your journey, I have a really beautiful resource I've made for you. It's a free quiz. It's called the Manifestation Archetype Quiz. And it's something that I've created so you can find out your manifestation style to give you more clarity on your spiritual journey. After taking the quiz, you're going to receive the best resources for your specific archetype to help you attract your desires based on where you're at and what you want to create. So you can find a link to the quiz in the show notes, or just head to my website at www.affirmation-addict.com. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast and share it on your social media, so I know to keep creating episodes that are inspiring you to manifest. I'm so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and I'd love for you to join the community by following @AffirmationAddict on Instagram. To continue diving into spirituality and manifestation, head over to my website, affirmation-addict.com. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy.